Yeah. uh-huh. Yeah. Shit. Grams leaders CC's, pounds. Close caps, close call, close encounter, close up, pounds of liters of grams, get your dosed up, cut this up, post up, and get dosed up. This for them voted like the movement, make the most of. Monday night at 8, I can't wait to set you straight. These opinions and debates, for them folk they can't relate. I got to elevate your mind through these signs of the time. Dishing out that medication for that they'll do me blind. And I ain't hard to find, you can catch me in no trenches. I do the groundwork and I ain't waiting on no sense. I be touching on them topics politicians fail to mention. And I don't vote for nobody that ain't got good intentions. I'm really live for my people and I'm here to make a change. I got that true serum hooked directly through your veins. Hey, this is for my people, tune in, catch it closer, 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 how closer, grams of it, tune in, liters of it, closer, pounds of it. Pounds of it, yeah, grams of it, liters of pounds, get your dosed up, dosed up,
Dosed up, dosed up. Yeah, I like that. See them sound effects, I like all that, them echoes and everything. What's happening, everybody? I am Dose. It's Monday night, it's 8 o'clock. That's Lab freaking it on them ones and twos for you real quick. We are tuned in to Dosed Up. Shout out to all my Chevy riders, the Montes Meros and the Vets. Just had to say that because I had a lovely ride over here, punching the gas, just listening to a little bit of music, vibing out, man, and getting ready for actually what we about to do now. So, oh yeah, also definitely let me shout out to BBG, but you know, because I did work out today. Yeah, boy, I was planking with a 45 plate on my back. That was something new. Yeah. Hey man, I can't complain. I like that. I like the fact that every time I think my trainer done hit me with some, and I got all the moves, you know what I'm saying, and all the exercises, boom,
hit you with something else.
Yeah.
So you good with that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
And while I was there, I was telling one lady, I was like, man, I got 8 more months to go, and she was like, why you put a time limit on it? And then that's when I was telling her, you know what I'm saying, that this is the challenge.
Right.
So I'm 4 months in, and to me, I'm not stressing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really impressed with myself seeing me because that's just 4 months, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I need to get halfway through it, beat that real quick, get to the 6, 7, 8 months mark. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna start doing, you know, some content with it and some video on myself and start from there.
They say it only take 30 days or 21 days to make it a habit. You've been doing it for 4 months, so does it feel like it's a natural part of your day now, like a natural part of your routine? No.
And I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't.
Okay.
Because all my life I've gone to the gym and just worked out at my own pace, did the type of exercises that I wanted to do. That ain't training.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is training almost like I'm about to be an athlete. A lot of the things that football players would do, minus, you know what I'm saying, routes and all this other kind of stuff and footwork stuff, but just the conditioning part of it, you know what I'm saying, the lifting part and throwing, increasing the weight, decreasing the weight, increasing the reps, decreasing all that other stuff.
Right.
You're not going to do that on your own unless you've been doing it for all your life and studying it, you know what I'm saying, or if you've been around it.
Okay. So I'm just saying though, like, you know, you have certain things in your routine as a daily routine that once you keep doing it, it becomes a habit. So like your daily routine will become a habit. Like, and you've been doing this for 4 months. So I would think it would be like say if you didn't do it, you would feel incomplete for the day.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I'm learning now because of what I'm doing is kind of so intense that you need recovery time. So now the fact that I know I get to get that recovery time and I get to chill, it breaks up that everyday going at it routine.
Okay.
Because technically I could do something every day by breaking different muscles down so that I don't really miss days.
Okay.
But then that's still really, I mean, you know, I can recover by not doing that muscle that day or whatever, but the way that I'm training with this dude, you know what I'm saying? I have to have recovery days.
Okay.
Because and I see the difference. Like the recovery now you can go heavier.
Okay.
If I keep going every day, then I'm at some point, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna max out, but I'll be so tired that I can't do heavy.
Okay.
Because I haven't relaxed, let the muscles heal. You see what I'm saying? And so now with doing that.
Okay.
But I'll say, here's another reason why I said that, because I wasn't always a cardio person when I was doing this. Matter of fact, I used to just try to cheat, and it was what I would eat or whatever, or I fast or something rather than do the cardio. But no, I got a cardio every day now. Push a sled every day. I wasn't pushing those damn sleds. You see what I'm saying? You know, back then, or I probably wouldn't push a sled when I'm finished with this, because I wouldn't have access to it, and I wouldn't have thought about it.
Okay,
anyway.
I get it.
So, but it's routine to the point where, yeah, I don't want to not, you know what I'm saying, do nothing for at least a week or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel bad. Yeah, I feel like, hey man, I'm off point because I've been doing this for 4 months, but I've done this before, so that's why I said I'm not necessarily like, when you get to over 6 months, past 6 months, if I get to that 8 month year mark, then I can answer that for you truthfully and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to miss no days unless they're scheduled recovery days. Other than that, I'm finna jump up and I got a routine. And if I don't do it by a certain time, I'm gonna feel messed, you know.
Right. I get it. I understand. Okay.
Yeah. I was in that bitch at Saturday, 10 in the morning. But then every day I go at 4:30 when I get off of work. So doing something in the morning is total different beast than doing something when you halfway through your day.
So which one feels better? Which one do you prefer? Like if you had, like let's just say you had a choice, besides if you didn't have to work or whatever the case may be, which one would you choose? Would you choose to work out in the morning, or would you?
Yeah, I say the morning, because if that's your first activity and you can start your day, you're gonna be kind of pumped for the whole day, amped, that adrenaline pumping, and you're gonna feel like you've already accomplished something before you even get there. But you also, what the morning will require is you got to really be on point and on schedule, because you would have to eat something before you get there. You would have to have had enough rest to not be sleepy, so you can be effective when you in there. So when you morning workout, you schedule like a mug. I used to do those and work out after work when I used to work at my old job, because I had to be there at a certain time, and we had the gym right there. So I was like, man, shit, let me get it in for about 30 to 40 minutes, hop in the shower real quick, then
go to
eat
work.
Something, clock in or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. All
So,
right. I just want to know, sometimes you just find it interesting how people, once they start doing something for a long time, that it becomes a normal part of their everyday routine. So just wondering.
But I'm gonna say this too. I wouldn't necessarily invite a lot of people to do this.
But you already have.
I'm saying do what I'm doing. They can do their own, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what I'm doing at my
really.
age,
not really.
It's hard, bro. Like, I mean,
get that, but hard may be what some people need. Like they may need
but
that
okay,
consistency.
they do, but I could just tell, like, all right, by the friends that put me on, it was like, man, if I was in there as much as you, I'd be getting where I need to be.
Right.
But there's a reason why you not in there, like, you know what I'm saying, man? Like, okay, people don't want to push their sled all the time. You might want to just, or people don't want to run on the treadmill for a mile or however long at a rate that someone else tells them to.
Right. Okay.
So I would have to take that in consideration. You know what I'm saying? Some people might not necessarily, they rather move at their own pace than is 5 or 6 other people right beside you doing kind of like the same exercises or whatever. Or the way I did it today, it was circuit. Okay. So, I get it. It was like four exercises right back to back to back to back, bro.
I get it. I understand. What's the topic of the day? Slick, say what's the
topic gonna be about, like we were just saying, well, I called it like tables turning, like meaning like what do you bring to the table?
Okay. Tables turning. What do you bring to the table?
If you are one trying to be in a relationship and just with your life as well. Because it's getting to the point wherein people are always addressing what someone should do for someone else, how much someone should make, but do they assess themselves when they demand what they're asking for?
Right.
And do they actually meet the requirements of what you want someone else to do? And okay, so I did this in kind of like a question form, like last week.
Okay.
But one of the things, like, man, first of all, like, are you invested in your own future?
Mm.
Because that says a lot about you.
Right.
So when you try to place blame on someone for being it doesn't work in their relationship, but you're not even invested in your own future, you might be the problem.
Do you think people know what investing in their future looks like, or maybe what may be required to invest in their future? Do you think people really know? Like the majority of people really know what that is? Because people say that all the time.
That's a good question. I think you should at a certain age. Like at our ages, shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we definitely should know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But see, now it's our job, or it's definitely my job, to show my child how to invest in themselves in the current. Okay. See, I'm invested in myself now, so I'm definitely trying to be invested in the future.
Right.
But like investing in yourself doesn't always have to be financial. It can be like what I'm doing now, exercising. It could be eating right. It could be reading certain things. You see what I'm saying? Getting certain knowledge that can get you ahead of the game, or that you can use to be beneficial.
Right. Right.
Sometimes investing in yourself can be purchasing certain things, like laptop with particular apps. A vehicle if you need to go if you need multiple routes for jobs. You see what I'm saying? But just investing in yourself to invest in your own future.
Okay.
If you're willing to invest in yourself, or if you are invested in yourself, then you probably are bringing a little bit to the table.
Okay.
And at least, you know what I'm saying, you one person that's trying to do something positive, that's trying to support and trying to bring something. Because if the other person isn't invested in themselves, more than likely you'll probably have to be investing in them as well.
So when so let's just say we're talking about come to the table, and we're talking about dating or whatever the case may be, and the woman or the man says, you know, hey, I do this, I do this. What about you? What's your future looking like, or what you have plans for 5 or 10 years down the road? You know what I mean? And they can't answer that question, or they don't know. Then that may be a problem.
It's funny that you said that, because when I was younger, and all of this, man, it's dope. All right, so I was trying to date this young lady, but she had kids and stuff. So she was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Okay. And she asked me this when I was young. Like, and so I was like, shit, I mean, successful, still grinding or whatever. You know, and then she said, would you be willing to go back to school? And I was like, I don't really need to go to school. I'm making money now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just grind and hustle on the side. And so with that being said, you know, we still dated or whatever, but that hit me different now that we're talking about it. All right, but the funny thing about it, once my daughter was born, guess who took their ass back to school? Me.
You, right.
So I see the relevance in that question when she asked me then.
Right.
Because I wasn't the age I am now when I did go to school for my daughter.
Right.
So I was actually 27.
Okay.
So those type of questions need to be answered. And those type of questions are kind of like telltale whether if you are invested in yourself.
That is true, because if you ask a question about someone about what they see themselves in 5 or 10 years, you know, majority of people are going to say, you know, I'm going to be trying to still make this successful, doing whatever they may be doing at the time. But then if you apply a question of, well, you think you'll go back to school? Especially like, say I'm 54. Somebody asking me, will I go back to school? I probably would. I probably would, because depending on what like, just say now, like say if I'm in computers now, when I got my degree, I probably got a computer science degree, but now that the computer and the science is changing so much, I may have to go back to school,
take a class or something.
And some people are just not. I mean, some people have had their fill of school, so I like that question. I'm glad you see the relevance in it now. Then when she asked it, it stayed in your mind.
And even back then, I saw the relevance of it, but my pride and ego felt like, man, exactly. I'm gonna make it this way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I'm bouncing around with my questions, but my questions are still all relevant.
Okay.
So it's okay now. It's like seeming to me, and not all women, you know what I'm saying, And this is mainly just off of what I see on social feeds.
And these questions are vice versa questions.
Exactly. Right? Yep. They can go, but it seems that like women are telling telling a man what it takes to be a man.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'm like this. I can't tell a woman what it takes to be a woman. I can just only tell them what I would like for a woman to do for me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? They're gonna learn how to be themselves on their own as far as that's concerned. Like, and if you're trying to tell us, you know what I'm saying, how you really can't tell us what it takes to be a man, because you're not. You can tell us probably what you would want your man to do, how you would want him to look, what you want him to make or whatever, and how, but that's almost like trying to tell somebody how to feel.
I think it's more telling men what they want. What type of man that they want more than telling us what it takes to be a man. What they're telling us what type of man that they want, and that may come off as, because you think about it like we talked about earlier. We can't tell a woman what it would be to be a woman, but we could tell a woman what it would be to be with us, what we would want a woman to be like to be with us. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's the argument there, because it would be kind of hard pressed for a woman to tell us what it would take to be a man. Everybody's perception of what it takes to be a man is different.
But you do have some women that are raising boys by themselves. And then, when Father's Day come around and all that other stuff, they be like, hey, I'm the mother and the dad.
Right.
I mean, I just look at that as, that's just to me like shock fact type stuff, man. But it's the people that actually be believing in that.
Right.
But
did you real quick? Did you see Killer Mike's post he put up yesterday on Mother's Day? He said to all the singles fathers who's out here slinging that D to make sure they take care of their children. Happy Mother's Day to all the singles fathers who's slinging that D to take care of their children and be a good father and mother to them. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like, how women do on Mother's Day. They always say, I'm the mama. Like you just said, I'm the mama and the daddy. So they want you to say Happy Father's Day to them because they are father. They feel like they're the father, too. He did the vice versa on them. Now, I thought it was hilarious.
Now, as far as like bring it to the table, you know what I'm saying? What I would, as a man, of course, I'd like to be a provider. Of course, I like to fix things within the realm of my scope. If I can't fix it physically, then maybe I can be the person to think of the solution.
Right.
I'm never about being controlling, because I'm not controlling towards anyone. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the times, man, what we want is easy for anyone to do if they don't have ego, you know what I'm saying, in the way. Like, we're kind of like simplistic. So that's what I definitely be bringing to the table. Then we have another question like, what are you buying for yourself? Because I look at it like, let's say because I don't think women who are bosses or independent should be considered to be intimidating. Sometimes I think they get a bad rep, at least on social media, as far as what they say they have their attitudes. Because I've seen a lot of women that's in power, and if you really talk to them, they're down to earth. Just like, and my thing is, owning something doesn't necessarily mean you have an attitude.
Okay.
Or you see, or being ahead of or a superior to someone in a professional setting doesn't mean that you're a jerk. It means you have a job to do. All right. So with that, we can get rid of the stigma of all, they're unapproachable or intimidating. Okay. But now if we're talking about what I'm going to bring to the table, and if that's considered to be an upgrade to me, I figure as a man, I got to get my game right.
Okay.
Because I'm entering, it's just like if I wanted to hang around some athletes, I would expect, you know what I'm saying, at some point, if they starting to exercise, I got to get right for that. I mean, like, it's adjusting to the situation that you feel like in the environment that you want to be in. So if you want to be around boss women, you can't be damn near employee mentality.
You can't be slacking.
Exactly.
Okay. I tend to agree with you on some of that, but I think that a lot of times when you encounter women who, call themselves bosses or something like that. This is just my opinion. I don't even think they know that they don't think. I don't think they know what a boss is, and I don't think they know what it takes to be a boss. A lot of times, they may own a business. They may, just because you own a business don't mean that you're, a boss. You know what I'm saying? You might not know what that boss material is made out of, but just because you own a business, that doesn't mean you're a boss. There's a lot of things that go in with being a boss. There's a lot of variables that you have to attend to be a boss. So a lot of times, this is why I think we butt heads on that. Men and women butt heads on it because, like I said, everybody's perception of what a boss is different. A woman who takes care of her children, make sure they're good, go home, fed, lights on, go to work, do it. Can't be considered a boss because she's doing a lot of the things, about herself. I mean, that's an interpretation of it. Somebody can interpret it that way. A person who owns a business and takes care of a bunch of things and does this and take care of her kids and make sure her husband's good and does all this other can be considered a boss too. But just because you own a business just doesn't make you a boss. There's a lot of variables that goes into that. And that's even with men too. Just because we own the business doesn't mean we're a boss. Some people are not even boss material.
So I got a question for you. Like, with when you think about what you bring to the table, first of all, it's can you afford your own lifestyle? Because some people are living, beyond their means.
Right.
And have created, by the way, debt ain't got no gender.
Right.
So, but have created debt for themselves and might need a person, someone else to help them out.
Right. Right.
But if you can't afford your own lifestyle, then obviously you can't afford the lifestyle of your partner. But let's say you can afford your own lifestyle. Do you go into it thinking like, can I afford the lifestyle of the person that I'm trying to be with? Or do you just be like, hey, man, it's me. As long as I'm straight, I'm good. Man, what you got going on?
I think a lot of times you have to consider, if you think you're going to be in a deep relationship with that person for a very long time, you have to consider the things that they're used to. And you have to say to yourself, can I afford those things? I mean, you have to be honest with yourself and say, can I afford the things? He or she might be too expensive for me. I mean, that's just the way of the land. You have to consider that. A lot of people don't, but I think you should, to be fair to that person and to yourself. Because if I can't afford you or afford to live with you, you used to, $2 or $3 or $4,000 person. I know there's no damn way I'll be able to afford that.
Yeah.
Why keep bothering you about it? Why even waste your time? But at the same time, I might not know I can afford it. You know what I'm saying? It might have to something that shows me that I can afford it because I'm also used to being broke. That my job is, I'm making a significant amount of money, but I'm so nervous about being broke or not having money that I just don't spend it like I probably could and still be good. So there's a lot of variables to that too, but you always should take in consideration if you can afford the lifestyle of the person you're trying to be with. That's just to be honest with you.
Okay, so let's say as a man that's dating, would you agree that the more money I make, the more options I have?
That's with anybody.
Exactly. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now, if we're supposed to have a certain amount or make a certain amount nowadays, which is trending, I heard one figure, 150K out there or whatever, but wouldn't that mean if we make that or pass that according to that, we can damn near have every woman we would want? Or they would be wanting us because we got that. Just that from the rip.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people don't take into consideration that when you have the more money you have, the more options you have, because you got to take into consideration the same amount of the same women that wants a guy with a high value. There's a lot more women that want that type of guy, so he can pick and choose who he want. And just like women like tall men and built and 6'2" with 210 pounds with abs, you got to realize there's a lot of women that want that same type of man. So he's going to have a lot of options where he doesn't have to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
The women who have bodies, you think about Instagram, how all these women got asses and they flaunting them on Instagram and titties. They have a lot more options than the regular woman. You know what I'm saying? Like they may not,
but they also trying to make money off of that.
Yeah, but they may not act on those options, but they damn sure have a lot more options. So that option thing when it comes to money and looks and material and physical, you have a lot more options the better your those material things are.
So, this is a question I want to ask you, OG. If you think that, let's say, if a woman is in a relationship with you and ain't spent nothing, you pay for every single thing. Do they get to kind of talk slick to you at the house, or what happens when if they arguing with you, or if they tell you what you need to do or something? You know what I'm saying? Do they have a say so at some point if they're not contributing? Okay, all right.
Yes, because I like, me personally, I like a little bit more feistier woman. I don't want no. I say I do, but I really don't want no yes woman. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I'm paying all the bills, which I generally try to do if I can. I try to make sure that I cover as much as possible, but sometimes I just can't do it. I have a lot more things, that I have to cover. But I wanted to talk up. I wanted to say something. I don't like no more yes, some.
Yes, she try to kick you out.
Well, if I'm paying all the bills in the house, then it's in my name. Well, if she try to kick me out, go with it. Go with it.
You gonna leave?
Yes, because I'm paying all the bills, so she won't be living that long anyway.
Oh, okay.
So it's what I'm saying, karma. You got to.
Damn, where you gonna stay?
Oh, if I'm paying our bills, I'll find some place to stay. That you know what I'm saying? I think a man should always have somewhere to go if they stand with somebody. And
but what if that's your house? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, if that's my house, then we ain't finna have that.
Oh, that's what I was getting at.
If it's my house, that ain't. I thought you saying if I was staying with her in her house and we would.
Oh hell no!
No, if it's my house,
the whole setup. I said you paying for everything. This is your house.
I could be paying for everything if I moved in with her too. So.
Yeah.
But if it's my house, we ain't playing them games. I'm not.
I was about to say, lad, this you turn. I'm finna say, man, is this the same lad that was last Monday?
No, I ain't finna. Hell no.
Oh, okay, okay,
but I'm not finna sit there and fight with her over her house.
No, hell no. I'm getting out.
Yeah,
for sure. I really don't even like to be put in a situation where I ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? If it don't work out with you, I ain't got nowhere to go. That don't make no sense.
Right. You always, I think you should be prepared for that kind of stuff to happen. Even if it never does, you should just prepare for it. Why would I want to be at the mercy of someone else living in their house in their name, or their apartment in their name, and they get a bug, or let's just say they meet somebody else and they decide, even if they come to your court, you say, look, this ain't working out. I've met Robert, and me and him gonna try to make this work out. I need you to, try to find you someplace to go. You don't want to be stuck and be like, damn, I ain't got no place to go. You want to be able to go if you have to go. You never want to stay somewhere that you're not wanted. You get what I'm saying? And that happens a lot to guys. It happens to women too.
The one thing I was gonna say that kind of lead into this next question is like, man, for a man who can't necessarily financially support himself, I don't really think you should be trying to come up off of a woman.
No, most definitely not. You shouldn't even be dating.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what but see, because you can't even support yourself. If you can support yourself, then you can date. But a lot of people think that they have the right to, you know what I'm saying, date, even if they broke. Like, they can't even afford Marta. Yeah, they do. Clearly they do.
Right.
But I think it just depends on where you at in your stage of life, man, because people have potential. They just sometimes aren't working. Right now, they might be.
Or they need motivation.
Or they could be in a bad spot. But see, that's why the key word is come up. Meaning, like, you're using her as a crutch, and then you're cheating on her, probably going to leave her, and you
drive
only
her car.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
I get that, but I don't think men should do it. I just don't believe that. I believe dating when you're broke or don't have a job is a much more difficult negotiation to me. It's just it puts more pressure on you when you already got pressure. You already got. You're trying to find a job. You trying to find. You might be staying with your mama or something. You trying to find somewhere to live. And then you trying to date somebody too. You better date Palmella until you can get it together.
So, as adults who have something to bring to a table,
Slick says men live off women so much more than vice versa. I don't know about that, Slick. I think women. I think it's promoted more than men do so, but I think women live off men just as much. It's just maybe that she has the apartment, but he's paying for everything. So and then she's not working or whatever the case may be. I think men and women live off each other just as equally. I don't want to get into that narrative that men do more, women do more of this or that than each other.
These dudes are paying for these women nowadays.
Right. You think so?
Straight up, man. Yeah, or at least that's what the narrative is. Exactly. You can go ahead and take it back to Ice Cube.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, I mean, and because it sells, so they say. Been selling, you know. But what I was going to say, like, as responsible adults bringing something to the table, I'm looking at it like, what are we expecting a person to do for us that we can't do for ourselves? Because I don't be expecting, man, like, I'm so used to getting it now that I don't expect anyone to do anything for me as far as, unless maybe put me in a position or give me an opportunity. But like, I'm not expecting you to do something for me that I can't do for myself, meaning like, this, I need you to do this or I'm a fail. You know, and like, you know where I'm pretty much going with it. Like, if you expect me to be able to do something for you, then you should be able to do something for me as well.
Okay.
You know.
I guess I live differently on that because I really don't need a woman to do much for me. I could do it myself. I mean, to be honest with you, I can cook, clean, sew, wash clothes, do dishes, clean up a house. I can do all that myself. So as far as need you to do something, I'm gonna always have a job. It may not be paying $150, but I would be close. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna be halfway there. So I'm always gonna have a decent job. So that's not gonna be. I never want to be not working and have my own money. That's just something I just don't ever want to do. Even when I lose jobs, like I lost jobs because of COVID or because the company closed down, I felt terrible. I felt like I need to have a job tomorrow. And even though it was no fault of mine, it was just how the dice rolled. But I would wish men wouldn't necessarily need, or women would need someone to do something. Now, if they do it, it's because they want to do it, not because you did something for me. Now I got to do something for you.
Yeah.
I prefer I'm going to do it just because more than anything.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Clearly. I mean, I like helping people, man. I like treating women, so it doesn't bother me. But you treat women when you rather her do something for you, not because you treat her, but because, hey, I like his company. Yeah, exactly.
Because it will be more general, more genuine, and it might be better than a tit for tat type.
It is. I mean, I like women that don't want me to spend money on them. You know what I'm saying? Just as much as some women I like, they do want me to, but they'll return it on me too. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But one thing I was gonna say, because let me find out where I was at. But this doesn't really apply to me, and I can tell it don't necessarily apply to you either. But how is it that we can't see the truth about ourselves when we talk about what we bring to the table or whatever, but our partners can? And a lot of times people are in denial, or that's kind of going a little bit back to when I was like, you expect something from someone, but you're not even bringing what you expect. The truth meaning, let's say if you stay at home with your mom, but you expect someone to have their own house, mansion and white fence and stuff. Okay, do you see the truth in where you're staying, even if you're in a relationship, you see what I'm saying, with the person that has that? And then are you trying to move in on it? You see what I'm saying? Or get your own?
I think for me, I try to be honest with myself a lot of times. That's mental, physical, financial, all of that. I try to be truthful with myself as much as possible. But you have to realize that human nature is that a lot of people can't see the truth or don't want to hear the truth about themselves. And they think about this, when something happens, most of the time, people don't say it's my fault. They say, such and such did this, or it's because I tripped over the, it's always, it can't be, man, I just fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It just don't happen. Or well, if they ain't did something, I was just lazy. I ain't feel like it. It's always a reason why it didn't happen. Then something just simple as I just didn't do it or whatever. So, I just don't think that I just don't think people take a look at themselves in the mirror, and I get guilty of that sometimes. I try to, but sometimes I just don't. It's a little bit difficult to see. So the person looking outside inward should be able to tell you your flaws, and then you try to work on correcting those flaws. Because I do try to. I might not succeed, or I might not. It may take a very, very long time to correct the issue.
Yeah,
but I try to.
A very long time.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay, so if it's kind of about what a person is bringing to the table, then now it's like, what is your process for choosing the person for you?
Well, to be honest with you, everybody says, oh, I go for what's inside. I go for what's inside. But it's the physical that attracts you to the person in the first place.
You know it. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't see how their mind thinks or how they work from across the room, but you can see how beautiful their face is and how nice their body might look from across the room, and that's what initially makes you approach them. So everybody has to be honest with themselves and say, the physical attracts me to the person first, and then I'll see how ugly or how beautiful they are on the inside once the conversation starts, or once we move a little bit further down the road as far as dating or just talking to go to dating. So it's always going to be the physical first. That's what's going to attract you to a person, regardless of what you do later on in the relationship. That physical part, because you have a physical type, or it may not even be your type, but you're like, man, she. You know what I'm saying? She look good, or he tall, he handsome, you know what I'm saying? And he might could protect you at the club. So you trying to get them things in. You get what I'm saying? And that's what's going to attract you to the person in the first place. Now, what type of person they are later on?
Hey, well, okay. So I've heard recently, marry for the money. And with that, and that's, like, I can't get down with that, because okay, that means one, you might not have even been physically attracted to the person. Two, it just seems like you set out, it's like you scheming
right
at some point, because if you don't like the person that you're with and you can't relate after a while, but you did like the money, that's what you focused on from the rip. So you're gonna eventually pull them papers out as quick as possible. And see if you can get some of that.
So you wouldn't marry somebody for their money?
No.
If you had the opportunity?
No. Because what they look like.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But, like, hey man, you
how they
can make money, bruh. Like, that's the thing. Like, will you really be happy with whatever she looked like if you had to marry? Because if I'm marrying somebody for the money, you can best believe it's like you got to pay me to marry you. You probably gonna be looking reckless. Cause I want something that look good that you ain't got. You ain't got to pay me.
Right. Right.
You know how it is.
Right.
So, no, man. Like,
that would be hilarious.
It would be. It would be. And I know, I know exactly. It's like some Shallow Hal type stuff going on or something.
Right.
But see, I would look at it like I'm doing a favor. Like, nah, I don't mean, like, I'm just not attracted to you. So why would I want to take your money?
Right.
But see, now what you say, like, yeah, because see, you
what
said
if she
marriage.
Pushing it though? Like, what if it's? I guess I don't know. Like, if I had an opportunity, like now I'm in my 50s, finna be 55, going on 60, and some woman asked me to marry her, and she had tons of money, I'm doing it, bro. I ain't got many more summers left. I'm trying to sip my times on the beach.
So what if
ride private jets if
what
I
if
can.
she's 650 or 550?
Nah, she ain't. Well, she's not gonna meet me because she can't even get out the house that way.
So you would marry that?
Hey, yeah.
And what if she like, okay, she want to get intimate with you? Yeah.
Well, see,
that's the way your face look.
Yeah, yeah. I'll make it work. Look, let me tell you something.
Ooh,
Money,
boy.
I tell Slick just said something that I always say.
Mhm.
Money makes you skinny. Money makes you look better. Money makes you taller. Trust me. Think about all the women who say, I need somebody 6'2", 6'3", and then they need somebody who got tons of money. And now you like, didn't you just say like 2 weeks ago you needed somebody 6'2"?
So,
you dating this little guy
the
who's
way I look
5'3"?
at it, I look at it like this: if that opportunity came to me like that, something else gonna come to me again. Like I
Okay.
attracted it the first time. I got that mean I got the gift. I can make it come back. Like
I'm just full of your
yeah,
I wouldn't
I
do
know.
it.
I know you wouldn't,
I would
man.
have to be physically attracted to the person.
Me too.
I just have to be. I know the money would be there. Maybe we could work out something. But to marry them, I would have to literally be physically attracted to them. I would have to love the way that they are physically before I could do anything, because that physical part is gonna be, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you this: I've always kind of wondered what it felt like, because I see people doing it or putting themselves in these situations. But let's say you're not necessarily married, but you're in a relationship that was a committed relationship, and man or woman, you're used to your partner. Basically, they did everything for you, paid for all your responsibilities as you're an adult or whatever that, and all your bills, whatever. And next thing you know, it don't work out and they leave. That person gonna be pretty much obviously crushed. But now, like, you ain't got nowhere to turn. It's been a lot of people, that I'll see from time to time. Damn, they don't even necessarily have a car to sleep in, but they either got to try to find the next friend's house to sleep on their couch, or find a co-worker, or be in and out of like gyms if they can. Seriously, man, and I'm like, what you gotta be to put, like, why? How do you gotta think to put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. It's, some people just want comfort for the minute. You know what I'm saying? They don't think, we don't. But you think about this. A lot of people don't think about tomorrow. They just worry about today. And if I'm comfortable today, I'll deal with tomorrow. And Slick, you talk about us shallow. People always, come on, man. Everybody goes for the looks first. Nobody, you won't, Slick. You won't want to be in a room and somebody ugly and 400-500 pounds trying to get on you and all that. Come on now. Let's be real with this. Let's look at ourselves in the mirror. We know the truth.
Man,
it shall set you free.
But you be surprised. It's somebody for everybody out there.
That's true.
It is, and that's what it be like, man. I don't need to see that. I'll be like, don't let that come up on my, what that is, the algorithm or whatever. We'd be good without that.
You talk about these questions you're asking because of stuff you're seeing on social media and on these internets. And the thing is that I think that social media and the internet has muddied the waters when it comes to relationships and dating. I think it has messed up it has made an illusion that is detrimental to dating. That is because you got all these people who consider themselves professionals trying to tell us how we should be dating and what we should be doing. And in the long run of dating, we all have to fill it out for ourselves. Nobody can tell me how to date someone.
Exactly. I mean, the only reason why I'm addressing it is because I see people that's actually trying to implement what they seeing on what I'm seeing on my timeline.
Right.
And I'm like, why would you be living like your life like what these people, you know what I'm saying, are saying when it makes no sense? Like, I don't see parents. Why would you teach your child to be, you know what I'm saying, dependent on another person's income for survival?
Like that whole, a man should pay everything and I shouldn't pay nothing type attitude, or a woman should be at home and have my clothes and shoes and food made when I come in the door type crap. That's not the world we live in today, right?
Exactly.
Right now, it's the way the economy is working, the way things are working, how much houses cost and all this stuff. It takes a 2-person income unless you're making, now that $150,000 that they talking about, that's how you know they don't know economy. That's how you know they haven't studied what the price of stuff costs. $150,000. They say $1 million right now. You couldn't retire off $1 million right now.
No.
You will be broke within the first 5 years if you spent like you spend regularly with $1 million. $150,000 ain't even considered middle class anymore.
I'll take it.
400. They say $250,000 to $400,000 right now is considered middle class.
Well, me. to me, you can live great like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like 150K, to me, if you know what you're doing, you can live like a king.
You can, but I'm just saying, like, that whole misconception that 150K is it, and that person could take care of me and my kids and everything.
No,
that's not possible.
No. I mean, like, I could, but I wouldn't. Like, I can damn near do that now.
Right.
But no, because it's like, okay, where I was finna go with it, man. You get out of life what you put in it. So what are you putting in your relationship? What are you bringing to the table? Like, you gotta bring something, because nothing from nothing leads nothing. You gotta have something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Right. I get what you're saying, but a lot of times when it comes to relationships, people don't think about they think they bringing themselves to the table, or my looks to the table, or my money to the table, or my big booty to the table, or my big titties to the table.
Yeah.
Those are the items that they bring to the table when you ask them that. So,
but guess what? All of that you name gonna want to eat.
Right.
All of that you name, when it's raining, they gonna want a roof over their head. All of that you name would prefer to drive or be driven somewhere. So, can they do that on their own with all of that?
I would hope that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like,
I would think that most women would be, and men would be able to do so, because we're talking about vice versa, that they would be able to do that for themselves. I would hope that they would be able to do that for themselves if they're requiring it. I
know it's a lot of dudes.
If they're requiring it from their mate. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of dudes out there dropping the ball. I can tell you that now. I mean, it's a lot of dudes balling.
Right.
But I mean, the ones that are dropping the ball are making it bad for us. Because some kind of way, some of these women are attracted to the ones that be dropping the ball.
Yeah.
It's like they like what you shouldn't have.
Right.
So,
that bad boy image.
Yeah,
that loser mentality.
Yep.
Get high, drunk every weekend, party type.
Yep.
Loser that they like, the nothing ass nigga. That's always how it goes, because they are exciting. A guy who goes to work, come home, and does what he's supposed to do is boring.
So here's another thing. Like, when we were offline, I was saying, shit, most people I know don't want to work, or wish they would love to not have to work, but you can get up, travel, your house, your bills paid for, and all that. So my thing is, I want to pick someone who would prefer that we both don't work. Then, you know what I'm saying? We both bosses, we both got enough income, or we both can do. We both going for the, hey, let's be independent thing. Let's put our resources or something like that. Because I clearly don't want somebody that's like, oh, I ain't got to work, but he do. Right. He can slave all damn day. I don't care as long as I don't have to work. Like,
you want somebody to support the efforts.
Yeah, like, make it so that we can get you out the workforce. Let's do that too. Like, not, as long as he working, I can chill at home.
Right.
I mean, I get that. That's cool if that's the lifestyle that you live, and that's your peace.
Right.
I mean, I'm not shunning that. I'm just saying, your average person would love to just not have to clock in and be taken care of.
That's
man,
true.
Woman, and child.
All of us.
Exactly.
All of us.
So be considerate with your partner. You know what I'm saying? And think about that. If you ain't got to, at least make something easier for them then.
Right.
Right. Damn, you know, like I would say, cook some, but some people can't cook.
Run a bath, or bust
him a bad, or cook something for him.
Something has to happen, I guess, was what you're saying, right? Like, help the process a little bit, go a little bit easier. But people don't. We're all selfish. You know this, right? Our nature is selfish. We're selfish people, even though we try not to be, and a lot of us succeed at that. But our true nature is to be selfish. Me first.
But look, you can also be selfless.
Yeah, but it's less people being selfless and more people being self more.
Why I say that? Okay,
more.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you how you flip this, right? Okay. You said selfish, right? So if you selfish, you want to be pleased, right?
Right.
So if you want your woman to please you, wouldn't you do something for her?
I'm saying most people's mentality is selfish. I didn't say that they just be selfish in a relationship, but you were saying, do something for them if you ain't got to do it, or if you ain't have to go to work, make sure it makes it easier. I don't think a lot of people think about that a lot of times. I need to make this easier.
I know they don't. I'm gonna tell you what be funny.
So that makes it selfish, a selfish kind of mentality.
But okay, I look at it like this. You won't really be that selfish if it's someone that you really like and they like you the same. Or more.
I think the selfishness comes in not intentionally. I think it comes in more of they just don't think about that part, that what they need to do or how they need to do something to make it easier. They just don't think about it. It may not be on purpose, but it may happen.
I've seen people like that, like they're gonna always make sure they straight, but won't really think about you.
Right.
And with that, I turn the tables, which is what this is. Do the same thing to you. Like, okay, shit, but I'll do it better because I'll have more. And I don't want to be like that, so that be a person I don't need to be with. So
are you single still?
Yeah.
Okay. So you single and you be out there dating. I don't want to, and you be out there dating. What are a couple of the traits you see as a single black male dating in Atlanta? What are some of the things you see that you be like, why women? And it's not just in one woman. It's a couple. It may be prevalent in a few women that you've dated. And you was like, damn, Leslie acted like that too, or Leslie said the same thing. Just some things.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Turns you off one in a little bit in some way. I mean, you may have tried to get over it and still talk to the person, but it was like,
So first, what I do is, it ain't even really dating to me. It's like I'm gonna go out.
Okay.
And okay, so I got different reasons for what I do. So if I go out with a female, like we chilling, we probably just friends. You see what I'm saying? And I still get to see where their mind is at. But if I'm in the friend zone, now I'm like, okay, I understand. I'm still currently out there seeing what's going on. All right, but if I want to find someone today, or if I'm looking to actually just be around someone that I don't know and get their numbers and stuff, then I go out by myself.
Okay.
And then I just go to the bar, and then I start observing the scene. And man, like I say like this, man, put yourself, okay, it's just like a fisherman. If he want to catch a certain grade of fish or whatever, a big one or a pure one, and this and that, would he go to muddy waters or would he go to the clear waters he can get? Whatever, it just depends.
You can catch big catfish in muddy water. But what I heard,
a catfish is a bottom feeder, ain't it?
I get.
All right, so now you ain't gonna catch no great white shark in no muddy water.
No sea bass.
Exactly. Yeah. So with all of that being said, it's like I put myself in an environment where it's positive vibe. Like you smile at the women and the women are smiling at you. Okay. That don't necessarily mean that you can always get the number or they're interested, but it's less where you have to have your guard up or where you thinking people have attitudes. You see what I'm saying? It's enjoying the moment. But I only learned that as I got wiser and older. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're younger, you want to be where everybody at.
Right.
So where everybody at is going to be popular, peer oriented, you know what I'm saying, trend oriented or whatever. But when you my age now and you looking for substance, now it takes a little bit a different playing field.
So you have to go to different places to meet women. You can't go to the same places you might have met women when you was 24, 25.
Yeah.
Now that you're older, you want some substance. You got to go to maybe museums now.
Yeah, exactly. And to avoid the dating scene like the ones that the people complain about. That's the club.
Right.
That's concerts and parties and all these other that's that stuff. Of course you're not gonna like that because everybody's putting on and trying to be something else. But take it to the side somewhere where, like you say, it might be a library event,
a museum
event, or Renaissance this or that or something. Where people are it's a melting pot of either different cultures or it's a certain type of vibe that you like. It's almost like if you in the comics, then you go to that Comic Con stuff. Now that's your world right there. You gonna see somebody, maybe a girl dressed as an anime character that you like, and then you can that's what y'all got in common. You can start talking like that, build a conversation like that or something.
Bookstores. When I used to always go to Barnes and Noble. get the other name of that bookstore is when I was business, I believe. I used to always go to Barnes and Noble, and at Barnes and Noble, you can sit up there and read the books, like you can sit in the aisles, and you meet a lot of women in the Barnes and Noble.
That
like,
thing got cliche now.
Oh, okay. Well, I ain't been there in a long time.
Yeah. Now that's on a list of what he gonna do? Take you to Barnes and Nobles or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I mean,
you ain't taking her there. You might meet her there.
Exactly, but
y'all might read the same kind of books, and then you strike up a conversation about what books you've read, but not necessarily that you're going to take them there on a date. You might meet them there, and that might be an intellectual conversation. Then you be like, damn,
Now I'm gonna tell you
different, or he kind of different.
I'm gonna tell you this, and this is what I've kind of morphed into.
Okay.
Because I asked this question, and I'm gonna answer it. But do you plan to add to, or your better half's finances, or is it all about catering to their needs? So the answer is I definitely want to add to their finances. Meaning, like, if we could create a business. Not even necessarily has to be mine. It could be theirs. Because I know how they say business and pleasure and all that other stuff.
Right.
But still, I come into it wanting to add to their finances. So even if it don't work out, man, at least, you can see that this was financially beneficial. And trust me, if I can afford to help you add to yours, then I'm obviously adding to mine.
Right.
So, and you kind of should want to make, whoever you're going to be with better.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people go into relationships to destroy it or destroy the person that they're with. Especially at our age, we shouldn't be. But me personally, I've always thought of that the relationship should advance, and you should have more if you decide to go out the relationship than you did when you come in the relationship. But shit happens, stuff happens all the time. So it may not work out that way, but you want to make sure that you are trying to make the most positive impact on the person that you're with in that relationship that you can. I don't think anybody goes in a relationship, and I could be wrong, trying to destroy the relationship. Shit just happens.
I got to give a shout out right quick. My homeboy SMC, who's a Chevy rider, he just logged in on my line. He's also a BBG member, so yeah. By the way, I went to the gym today, sir. So I'm forever doing this thing.
Right.
But back to what we were talking about. Definitely, it makes you a better person to try to make them better. So and everybody, trust me, you both gonna be pleased if you can add to them finances. So but I'll say, now we kind of alluded to this earlier. I was like, some people are like financially attractive, but physically and morally unattractive.
Yes.
So you have to understand that. Yeah. Because money may make you look good, but you on the inside and how you treat people, or what did you do to get the finances?
Right. Your moral compass has been destroyed on that ladder to financial freedom. Right.
Yep.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, we
talked about this on the show before.
Or just the fact that, like, I mentioned this to my mom before I came here today. Oh yeah, shout out to all the mothers, because it was Mother's Day this weekend.
Mother's Day yesterday.
Happy belated Mother's Day. I said, the guy in the Maserati can just drop you off and go pick up 4 or 5 women. But the guy that had to walk to the bus stop, catch the bus, catch a train, catch another bus to get to you, you must have really missed under that, man. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times we have to understand that we may not always have all those means in our pockets, the shiny things, but we got something in our hearts. And you know what I'm saying? Ambition, like, just because he couldn't afford the car didn't mean he couldn't see you, and he couldn't afford time to be around you.
Women don't want men who don't have transportation.
I mean, I know
they don't want men who don't have transportation.
Well, you can Uber nowadays. But yeah, I know. But see, now here's the thing, because I feel like this, and I've been on a bus before. But if my old lady, or if I'm a young lady that I'm attracted to someone, and they standing out in the rain, I'd love to be able to drive them to where they need to go. Right. And you can't do that walking to the bus stop. Right. That's all I'm gonna say, players.
You can do it in Uber though.
But you can, but everybody ain't got Uber money either.
That's right.
Because that costs more than the MARTA. Okay. And the Uber every damn day
It's a lot.
Exactly. But that's where when we started, you say you gotta know yourself, know the truth. The truth is that I had to be truthful with myself a lot of times, man. I ain't have transportation. So how I'm gonna get this boss chick riding up on MARTA, and okay, I get off at the bus stop and everybody else in Mercedes and stuff talking, man.
Right.
It might not look good in that circle, you know.
Right.
Not to say that I didn't have confidence, but I'm just saying, well, I put myself in certain situations. Look at what I can do now.
Right.
Look at what I can pull up in now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So
I get it.
It's like, it was like that. Shit, about a year ago. Like I didn't like what I had. I had a vehicle.
Right.
But it wasn't dependable and reliable to me.
Right.
And
so you had to change it up, and you had the means to do so.
Exactly. You know, and when it was time, I did that.
Right.
But what does a person feel like sometimes? How do you feel? Because I could tell you, I can answer this too. When you were only liked for you because of your money. And to me, that's like an empty feeling. But it's a little bit of respect to me because yeah, you like me for that. But I mean, depending on how I felt about you, because there's people that like me for money now. I don't that I got a lot, but
I ain't never had that. I ain't never had that issue. I never had that. But you have to remember, I was married for a very long time. So prior to this, and I got married young. So
Oh yeah.
So I never had an experience of just dating different women and then find out one was like, you know, you got a good job and blah blah blah, and I'm just kind of with you for your money. I never had that issue, so I can't even speak on that and how I would feel because I don't know. I won't know until it happens to me, and how many summers I got left, it might not happen. And I'm to the point now. I'm like, whatever, it's whatever. As long as you bust it open, it is what it is.
So, another thing, you know, like, because I am in the process of upgrading a lot about me. I'm improving, shall I say.
Right. We always should be improving.
And getting to the next level.
Right.
And I understand, like, that may put me around women that I'm not around now. That may put me in situations and I'm going to have different type of experiences. So with that, I'm understanding that there's a certain standard and quality that come with that. So that means, once again, I'm stepping it up.
Right.
Like, I'm going to meet the standards and qualities that I want, that I feel like would be necessary to be around those kind of people. Like, some people you don't smoke around.
Okay.
Or some people, you know, you want to be in your best attire around because let's say that could secure you a deal or something. It's almost like if you were getting ready to go for a job interview.
Right.
You're going to go in your worst, which,
your
believe
best.
it or not, man, I have seen nowadays, this new generation don't give shit. Man, I'm telling you, like, before I started back working at the hospital and I was doing some valet for a sec, man, these YNs, bruh, these young folk, they would come to the interview in street clothes, smelling like weed or marijuana, right? And then be like, literally ask the manager, hey man, is this where y'all hiring at? You know, and then, hey, so my bro asked dude, because he was telling me, man, I asked this dude this question. He was like, so what happens if you like get in a disagreement? You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, what was the disagreement you had at your previous job or something? And he was like, man, some lady was trying to add me to do something, and I was like, man, I ain't trying to do that, so I cussed that bitch out.
Oh,
and then he's saying this in the interview, and I'm like, bruh.
Right.
And then look, hold up, man. I ain't this. Look, man. Hey, this dude took a bump on his car before he went into the interview. I saw it myself. I was like, man, these folk coming in here drugged up, man, a line, man. I'm like,
wow. Wow.
Yeah, bro. I was like, y'all off the chain in here.
Maybe it was helping his anxiety.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We go in there like, hey man, y'all hiring?
He was nervous.
But you doing that and you want to be a valet driver, bro? You know, no. Are you gonna wreck somebody's shit?
Right, most definitely.
But yeah, man. So, hey, like I say, a standard and a quality that you have to have.
What if we talk about standards, qualities, and morals, and when it comes to relationships,
what you bring to the table,
and what you bring to the table, you're in the dating world. So, what are some of the things that you would require? what would you want your woman to be like? And let's not get all over the map.
I got you. Yeah.
Narrow them down.
It's funny because when I'm looking at a woman, I never be thinking, I wonder how much she make.
Right.
Like I'm like you. First, it's the physical, right?
Right.
But the physical for me has now been like, what are you wearing?
Right.
Because now
what you smell like is physical to me, because if I walk up to you smelling good,
yeah.
That's something. That's why you know what I'm saying. Like, damn, she smell good. That's a attraction.
Sometimes I pay attention to what they eating, what they're sipping on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like lady like women. You know what I'm saying? Dainty type. You know what I'm saying? Or earthly type.
Right.
But you know, I don't like ratchet type. But I'm a man, so let's just say when you see these Instagram types, they look good, man. Like shit, but when you get to their mind, it's like, okay, you're gonna be somebody that won't last through the night.
Right.
You just like, you know, so I'm not going for that. That wouldn't be relationship material at all. They probably don't even really need to know the depths of what I'm doing.
I mean, especially if they you know, you get to talking about certain things, they can't have a conversation with you about it. Man, no, that's kind of a turn off. Like, you would want somebody who reads a little bit, you know, social media don't have all the information you need. Sometimes you need to open a book.
So I'll tell you this,
even a news article.
The last person that I met and ended up exchanging numbers with, the conversation was awesome, man, because it was almost like how we talking.
Okay.
Now, when that happens, you know, you're already comfortable.
Right.
There have been times I still had these same type of conversations with women, but I wasn't attracted to them.
Okay.
They just started talking to me.
What was it that didn't attract you to them?
The way they look.
Okay.
So
I can respect that, because like we said earlier, even if they have a whole bunch of money, you still want to be a little bit physically attracted to them.
Yeah. And see, my thing is this, like, I'm real, so I recognize my flaws, meaning like, why would I want to be with you and I know what my type is, and you're not my type.
Right.
But I don't want to just be because I'm horny. I'm a befriend you, get your number, take you up through there, feed you this bullshit conversation, because it was real conversation.
Right.
But it would be bullshit if I'm doing to you, you know what I'm saying? And she look better. Now, if this particular person who is technically attractive to me with the vibe, but not necessarily as physical. Right. It's doable, but not, I wouldn't want to date you. But if she was like, hey, you know, I'm cool with you just doing that. Now I'm like, Right. But still, no, because I don't want to get her catching no feelings or expecting something more from me when I know from the real, no.
I mean, have you ever started dating somebody and then have a conversation, they have a great conversation, but notice you're not physically attracted to them, and then be like, I think they'll be better as a friend, and y'all become friends?
No.
Because I don't think a lot of women are pressed.
I'm not wasting time like that.
Really?
Yeah, I got enough friends. I don't make female friends on purpose. Like, it has to be kind of on accident or because they put me in the friend zone.
But you could put them in the friend zone. Like,
no, they got to get smashed first. Bruh.
At least you honest. I'm just saying, man. Like, some people you meet and you meet to date, and you think like, and then they be like, man, I think we'd be better friends. You like, you know what, you right, because I like bigger titties, and you got A cups.
Well,
you get what I'm saying? Like,
see, this the thing. I said, okay, see, when they approach me, and if they're not as attractive, I'm just gonna talk to you. But if I approach you, then I don't want to be your friend. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna get your number, and it's gonna be, let's see what we can do.
But they approach you and they not as attractive, but y'all conversation is the bomb.
I'm probably just practicing for somebody that's attractive.
So you would be like, friend zone?
Seriously?
Like, you would be no.
Because you're gonna take up my time. I need to get with the one that I really like, and if she got the same mentality, now I've matched.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it. Okay.
Cause see, I'm not young, so I'm not
right. You can't waste this time. You can't waste this time because time is fleeting. I get what you're saying.
And not only that, like, it is some karma attached to all of this stuff too.
Right.
Like how you treat somebody, even how I treat other dudes. You see what I'm saying? Like you do
but you're not
somebody
treating
wrong.
her. You treat her good. You like, you know what? We had a great conversation,
Mhm.
but you know, I think we'd be better. I mean, you giving her the play, like you ain't trying to smash her. You ain't trying to.
So where
put
we
up, lead
going
her.
with this friendship?
You might have somebody you want. You could have a friend. You be like, hey, man, I met this girl today. You know what happened? And then y'all talk about it. She be like, man, you tripping. Or, you know, sometimes you just, I don't know. I've never really had female friends like that. Because I was married and my wife wouldn't play that game. Ex-wife wouldn't play that game. So,
I mean, all right, I throw this at you. I got a number to a young lady that works out now. She work out at the same spot I work out, right? And so the way I played it was, hey, shoot, just let me get your number just in case next time I come up here or something like that, and he ain't here, whatever, I can shoot you a text or whatever.
Right.
So that's how that went. I ain't really tried to holler at her from that, but she seen me today and came over and spoke and gave me a pound or whatever. I ain't making too much of that.
Right.
But now, according to you, maybe I should be like, hey, on some friend shit.
Right.
But
workout buddy.
Bruh,
workout buddy.
Workout buddy, fine.
Hey.
Workout buddy. Well, okay.
Hey, workout buddy could turn into between the sheets buddy if you talk and play your cards right.
That I know.
You can't approach her. You can't.
I know, but you just said friends. See?
Yeah, but I'm saying if you said workout buddy was fine.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about the one that
and
you
find
cute, that you find beautiful. We
all
chocolate
fine too.
Huh?
She chocolate. Too.
Okay, we talking about the one that you may talk to and you notice that you're not physically attracted to. You friend zone them, not the one that you find that's fine. Like,
you know, I'll tell this to you though, Lab. I bet you didn't know that sometimes I got a soft spot for chocolate women.
I ain't know that.
Boy, do I! Like, and that's funny because I don't really have they never really been my girlfriend.
Right.
Mine, it's the opposite. But no, like, yeah, chocolate is dope. Bro.
But you would have to figure out what you would bring to the table for the chocolate woman that's fine. Like, you gotta assess the situation. You gotta look.
I bring a house to the table.
Right. Okay. See, plus.
So I bring the table to the table.
Right. I fill the table with food.
Really, right now, man, I just be trying to offer opportunities to women. To be honest with you, like I mean, and so I guess I am inadvertently befriending them.
Right. Exactly.
But I'm getting a kick out of helping them in ways where I can be most beneficial, or it's easier for me to do. Sometimes, like what I'm finding out, it ain't always got to be financial. It leads to that at some point,
right?
But like first, I can get you a role in a script. I mean, a skit. You see what I'm saying? Or, it don't cost a lot nowadays. You know what I'm saying? To do something meaningful for somebody, like, hey man, here's just 50 on breakfast, something like that, or for your gas tank, and that that helps a lot, like because some people need it.
That's true.
I know some dudes need it, so but and when you do that, but it's unexpected and not asked for, then it makes people look at you in a certain light, and so that's the way I've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, because like I said, I don't like when people demand things and expect things, and when they be like, oh, well, he's supposed to do all of this. Because like when you ask me, what am I bringing to the table, and I rattled off just that plus more, obviously, then it's like you don't even play them games. You already know you covered, so you definitely gonna cover whoever you can. I mean, and this type of mentality, I've seen other people with it, and it's like, meaning if you went somewhere with me, you could be covered. You covered.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I got your back if I got it. So if more people are like that, then it would be easier to transition into relationships.
You think so?
Yeah. Because think about it, like if people have the mentality like I'm not necessarily going into this to take from someone. I want to go into this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't always have to give somebody like your everything. Like, we're not talking about be naive and just tricking off on somebody that you just don't have no kind of relationship with at all. Like, don't like you at all. We talking about like the potential that could be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You like y'all to hit it off, and you know you're in a consistent type of seeing each other. Period. Communicating damn near daily.
Right.
Then yeah, I mean like supporting and I think that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Helping them in those kind of ways. Sometimes I see someone in need, and I feel like, you know, let's say if they were already kind of like trying to talk to me or something like that, I'm not going to use that as a way to get further. Sometimes I just be like, here, man, here's this, here's breakfast. And I don't even we ain't got to go nowhere. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We can, like you say, friend and put it on the back burner until we realize maybe, oh, it is a thing going on. What I do, I like the friendship, but you know it's going to probably develop into something, as opposed to the friendship that's just always going to be the friendship sometimes.
So you're talking about the friendship that accidentally develops into something.
Yeah. Or yeah, like y'all are friends, but only because that's what you call yourself, because you haven't really officially started dating. Mm-hmm. But you know that person is physically attracted to you.
Mm-hmm. And you physically attracted to them.
Yeah, back.
Okay.
Now, cause there are some friends, man, and I don't see how you could be two attractive people and not be attracted, mm-hmm. but there have been some friendships I've been in where I was like, man, you fine as hell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just had to say that. You got to know that. Like, it's so like, that's that. I just, as long as I felt like I let you know, mm-hmm. but it didn't lead to nothing. It didn't go nowhere. So now I'm like, you know, I don't want to necessarily keep wasting my time and opportunities with you, because I could be developing that a different relationship with somebody that feel a certain way about me.
Right. I get it.
So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, man, you know.
So no meeting somebody, talking to them, and then deciding friends on them. You like to act. You don't want to waste that kind of time. You want the accidental friend, you like y'all.
So
accidentally come into a relationship or something, or accidentally.
Yeah, or I'll have in the back of my mind, once we get through this amount of time, we'll see if they serious or not.
So what happens when you're in a relationship and the relationship's going good, and then y'all start to build something, then you notice something, or they notice something, and they say, you know what, we've been doing it, y'all did everything imaginable on son, physically and all that, and then y'all say, you know what, I think we'd be better off as friends. How do you handle that situation? What do you do in that situation?
You stay their friend, because I've been in that situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
remain their
waste
friend.
time with friends like that.
No, here's the thing. But you said I was in the relationship with them already.
Right.
So it was intimate already.
Right.
So, I mean, if we leave on amicable, respect terms, yeah, like that's my last relationship.
Right.
And I just sent out a happy Mother's Day to her mom. Mm-hmm. You know, she'll send my mom flowers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I haven't seen her in maybe 4, 5, 6 months or better, like probably longer than that, you know,
right.
And I'm not like, you can't date nobody, you know what I'm saying, and nothing like that. Like, I'm not crushed, because I'm like, sometimes it's better to have a person in your life as a friend than to not have them at all.
Okay.
You know, if they really meant something to you. Because, see, we were beneficial as friends and beneficial when we were intimate, too.
Okay.
So the benefits never stopped just because the intimacy did.
I get it.
So that's what's dope about that. And the feeling of respect for each other never stopped. Mm-hmm. So we didn't break up on no badass terms. I mean, it was a breakup and things were said, but obviously the friendship was mendable or able to, you know, last the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which speaks a lot about my growth, definitely, you know, but like I say, I don't really commit to somebody that I can't feel. You see what I'm saying? Or like, let's say if she gonna be somebody that I would bring here and let the world know I'm dating, you would be able to say, oh yeah, that seems just like for you, Dose. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just, I could see why y'all together or whatever.
Right, okay.
You know, rather than you just being like, damn, that's weird.
So you prefer them to have kind of the same interest as you, and maybe you know, be on the same trajectory as you when it comes to the future?
Sometimes I want the opposite of what I do,
Mm-hmm.
but able to relate to what I do.
Okay, let you do what you do without
that's what I want, because I don't necessarily want someone that does all the things that I do.
Okay.
Because then I think that it's cool that we're relatable like that, but if there's something that I want to stop and that's what they're doing, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Then I'm like, man, it's gonna be hard.
You want somebody to be able to give you the space to do what you like to do, and you give them the space to do what they like to do. Okay.
Yep. Usually the person that's opposite from you, if they're attracted to you, to me, for it that works for me.
Okay.
But but I am looking for certain things that are similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what made it work, even though this person was opposite from me, was we had a lot of compassion, friendliness. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We jokesters, laugh, that type of stuff. You see, we both family oriented. So even though I was a totally different person, those traits were able to relate to her. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And make it so that she felt comfortable enough to be around me. And then just the fact that I respected her. Like, that's the thing I've noticed. Like, women have certain traits, like no matter what country they from, or like what they've been through or what they prefer, certain things are gonna always remain the same. And that's how I was able to, because I knew that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, one, they're gonna always want some respect.
Right.
Always want attention. You know, a little bit of catering and pampering. They're gonna want somebody strong though. You see them strong minded, you know. Just like we would want some, you know, if we start breaking down certain qualities, I'm quite sure it would be the same, you know.
Right. I get it.
So with that being said, that's what I was trying, you know, I go forward with that when I'm starting to, you know, get out there now.
Okay. And that's what you're trying to say, you know, we gotta even these tables out. We gotta make sure that we're not requiring stuff of people that we are not willing to, that we don't give to ourselves, or we're not requiring stuff of people that we don't have already, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't require to be with somebody that makes $150,000 when you make $12 an hour.
Not only that, I remember my daughter was telling me that she had to fall back on chilling with some of her friends or just certain people, or you know, because she always had hers, but they didn't always have theirs. So that lets me know, young women, older women, men, like, I don't like hanging around a lot of men that ain't got nothing for themselves going on. Right. I don't want to hang around no woman that ain't got nothing going around for herself, you know.
You know, one of them big things that I've seen recently, that I've heard recently, is women or men don't want to date like men don't want to date women with kids, but he got kids, or women don't want to date men with kids, but she got kids.
So I've heard that too. It's like this. If you got a limit to how, if it's a certain amount of kids, I only deal with because what I wanted in life. I say maybe 3 or 4 is my limit.
Okay, I get that, but you ain't saying they ain't. They can't
man,
have
like,
no kids.
It's just about your mentality, man. You know, but I will be batting an eye if you guys 4 kids with 4 different men. Now I'm kind of like,
about 2 eyes.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, that's a deal breaker to me, because there's too many men in your life.
Right.
And then that means, like, at what point did you, like, tell me what was wrong with you at some point then? Right. Because you done went through 4 dudes. You see what I'm saying? But now, like, on the flip side, I'm like, you know, women should be kind of cautious of men who might have a whole bunch of kids spread out. They're very cautious, as a matter of fact. But like I say, it doesn't stop me from dating them. Sometimes it might depend on how old the child is, if they bad or not. Though it's a lot of factors in it though, like where your baby daddy at, where he at in the picture with it. You see what I'm saying? I don't have time to be ducking and dodging no pew-pews and getting into it with nobody, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, I do believe kids should be disciplined, but I ain't trying to discipline them. And if I have to, it definitely won't be physical, but it'll be in a way where everybody would know, and they might cry, but I would never touch them. But you just ain't gonna get this. You ain't gonna get that. I'm gonna tell you the truth about yourself. You see what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna be like, well, if that don't work, I probably be like, well, you know what? You can tell your mom I'm out.
Wow.
That'll get him in trouble for sure.
Wow.
I mean, seriously, like, man.
You can tell your mom I'm out.
Man, hey, man, I ain't got time for no bad kids, bro. Because mine was never bad.
I get it.
So why endure that?
Right.
When I don't have to?
I get it.
So, hey, but with that being said, man, we getting towards the end of this show. I think it was very productive. I think nobody took any blames. I think we were realistic about what everyone brings to the table, be it the man and the woman. We were definitely realistic, like what you said. You put me in, with that 150K, put it in perspective that it's decent,
right.
But I mean, hey, we really want to either be making more, or you should combine rather than try to take from that, because that ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Also, man, I'm just like, look, I think both of us agreed that we like to provide for ourselves and we want to have it regardless.
That's true. Most definitely. I agree.
With that being said, if you're around me, then you have it. But it's up to me to pick the right people to be around me then. Because like now I'm more mature enough to understand where to go to find what I'm looking for. And then, like I just said, once I decide to get into that upper echelon, I'm gonna brush myself off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do what I need to do to raise up to that bar and that level. And then I have the lingo, the finances, and whatever I want to speak to the women and men up on that level.
That's true.
So with that being said, we're gonna come back next Monday, and holler at you. I hope once again that all of you wonderful, beautiful mothers had a great Mother's Day this weekend. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Get those stores. I'm out.
Yeah. Grams leaders CC's pounds. Close cash, close call, close encounter, close up, pounds of liters of grams, get your dose up, cut this up, host up, and get dosed up. This for them voted like the moving, make the most of. Monday night at 8, I can't wait to set you straight. These opinions and debates, for them folk they can't relate. I got to elevate your mind through these signs of the time. Dishing out that medication for that death, dumb and blind. And I ain't hard to find, you can catch me in no trenches. I do the groundwork and I ain't waiting on no sense. I be touching on them topics politicians fail to mention. And I don't vote for nobody that